Hello everyone. Here I am with some of the swag. Most of the swag I got at the Commonwealth Pen Show in Boston last weekend. Some of the swag has already been absorbed and is either in drawers or other drawers or thrown in the trash. Now I haven't thrown any of them out yet. But let me just show you why I got some of these. Piece of paper. Excuse me. It's not even 5 in the morning and I'm trying to do a video here. So, at the pen show, I did buy a number of pens that surprised me, because why do I want another of these, or why do I want one of these? And I'll show you just why I picked them. This one is a little Sheaffer, ladies Sheaffer or ring top, and it is engraved with EPD, as you can see, and it's a nice little zigzaggy lined pattern. And I can't even remember what kind of nib it has. It's a number 2 nib. Let's see how it writes. Well, that's one of the reasons why I bought it, because of that yummy nib. I have one of these already, but it doesn't have initials on them, so I may end up keeping this one and selling the other one. Maybe to you, or you, but chances are I'll just keep both of them, because I can. Let's pick a different one. Let's try this one, another lady's pen. This one has initials FAG, which spells something, which I couldn't resist. The pen itself has a big chip out of the threads, so I won't bother to try to sell this one or try to fix it myself. It has a nice nib, so it was worth it for me to get a pen with fun initials and a nice nib, and I didn't spend a lot of money on it. And yes, it can be repaired by someone, not by me, but, and what kind of nib does this have? Another typical Waterman number 2 flexible nib. So that nib I can put in a pen to sell to you or you or you. Not to you, though. I'm not going to sell a pen to you. And you know why. Other pens that have, speaking of pens with initials and or problems, I got yes. This one has AHM engraved on it. I don't know if you can see this. Come on, get in focus. And the pencil matches AHM. They're slightly differently engraved, and I don't know why. They seem to have sort of the same amount of space. I guess the pen's cartouche is a little bit larger, so they were able to, the engraver was able to add little cross-hatching in the, you can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Little cross-hatching within the two lines, and the pencil just has a thicker line like that. So there's a slight difference, and I kind of like that. It has a really yummy nib, but it, as you can see, it has this wall metal pen corrosion thing going on, which in my crystal ball will show that this will separate. This is like seafloor spreading, you see. This is moving this way at so many inches per century, and this part is moving that way at an equal speed, and at some point they'll spread apart. That's a problem with these metal pens. Moisture gets near or ink, wet ink gets in between the inner cap and this part of the section, and it corrodes from the inside. So, but it has a nice nib and a nice engraving, and it will work perfectly fine for a while. The same problem is found on this pen. It's another Wahl Eversharp. You see there's a slight raised area there. And it too will have an issue. The person that sold this to me commented on the slutty nib. That's a term that he uses to describe, nibs that are slutty. No, it's just extremely yummy nib. Why he uses that term, I don't know. But anyway, it has a very nice, flexible, snappy nib. That's a better description than slutty. I think slutty can mean any sort of astounding nib in his vocabulary. Yes, there's problems with this pen, but the nib makes it worth it. And the nib can be used in a different pen. I can transplant the nib. But there we go. Sticking with Wahl, here's another Wahl. This has the wedding bell pattern, which is relatively rare. Often it is two-toned, though it's silver and gold, which I generally don't like. They almost always have a mottled section, which this has, which you can't really see, but there is some red there. Red hard rubber. And what kind of nib does it have? Almost all of these, I forget that my bottle of ink that I'm using is full rather than almost empty, which is what most of my inks have. This too has a lovely nib, beautiful for drawing or for calligraphy. So another keeper, or else might sell it. Let's see. We have these are two oddments, a Parker 51 and a Parker 61, both with the same pattern. I guess I must have realized that when I was buying them, but no, I didn't remember realizing it. So it's sort of a nice, you can see at a glance the difference between the two pens. Well, you should be able to see. One is thinner, the 61 is thinner, and it's a gold fill pattern with vertical lines. The Parker 51 has vertical lines and a bunch of ink on the back. How did that happen? I don't know. WCW is engraved on it. And this pen has the thing that I love about some 51s. I generally want all of my 51s to sort of write like this, where the regular side is thicker than the flip side. I like there to be a big difference between the two. Some 51s don't really have that difference, but I like it when it does. You would think, based on my previous discussions about gold, that I would prefer the Flighter version of this, which is chrome colored, smooth chrome, that I would prefer that to this. But there's something about the gold fill versions of this pen that I like, and I don't know if there's a weight difference or what. I haven't figured that out yet, but there's some difference that is, I can feel it in my gut. So, though I don't generally like gold, I'm buying pens that are gold in color, like this one. This is a Sheaffer, the checkerboard pattern, and that turns out I don't have this. I have some of the other patterns. It has a nice sort of semi-flexible nib, snappy as almost all Schaefer nibs are of this era. Let's go finish the metal pens here. Here's a It's a Waterman safety pen, and I think it actually works. The cork feels like it's solid and it won't leak or slide back. I'll try it out one day, maybe. It's missing its little ring that goes through the ring on the top here. The loose ring, the floppy ring is missing, but that's okay. Sticking with Waterman, I got this one with the 2 gold bands. It turns out I don't have this one. I mean, I don't have it as nice as this. This one, the one I had in my collection was missing its clip, but now I've got one that has its clip. And it's worn and everything else, but that doesn't bother me. I thought, yes I did, I put an accountant nib into this one. I did a nibectomy, a nib switch, nib transplant. So somehow that's there. This Waterman I got, this one has a nice semi-flexible nib, good for drawing. Yes, I can see, you can tell me it has plier marks on it. That's fine, doesn't bother the way it writes. So will I keep this one? I think I have a duplicate of this, so I'm probably will sell this one to an artist. Okay, let's go with these swans. These are 2 swans. Now I got this one. You're saying, why did you get a swan like that, Pierre? Well, I got it because it has a really big swan nib. Does it say swan on it? What does it say? Does it say Schaefer? Did I buy a nib with a Schaefer? No, it says maybe Todd. God, what am I thinking? It does say maybe Todd. This has a broad-ish semi-flexible nib, and it's very smooth. And this would be a pen that I might show at a pen show. Someone wants to buy a pen, or at my house when someone wants to buy a pen. I might hand them this pen first, because this is one that I'm able to, depending on what they say about this nib, I will be able to then show them another pen that is closer to what they want. This is a perfectly good bowl of porridge to be given to Goldilocks, because she'll say either it's too hot or too cold. She might say it's just right, which is fine, because then I'll know. But if I show a beginner pen collector a nib that's very, very fine, they're going to say, oh, it's scratchy. And they might walk away and not try any more of my porridge. But this one is smooth, it's broad, it has a little bit of flex. It's a nib that everyone should love to a degree. And we can refine from there. So, if nothing else, it'll be used as the first pen I show someone. If I showed them this pen, another swan, has a hard, stiff, slightly scratchy feeling nail-like nib. Someone might like it, but if I started with this pen, they would be unhappy. I want to smile. I want the first thing I want the first experience to be, oh wow, I didn't realize a pen could do that. Whereas this would not give that response. So why did I buy it, Pierre Gustafson? I think I bought it because I really liked the bulldogness of this. It's a short but wide pen. It just looks like it was used to sign sign some sort of important document for some industrialist to completely divert a river that serves a community to make his widgets out of or something. It just has this feeling of power. This too, same kind of pen, short stubby pen, has a Sheaffer nib in it, which is slightly italic, which fits the pen perfectly. This pen and this nib are perfectly matched. Another similar pen, short but fat Wahl Eversharp pen, ring top. If this was owned by a woman instead of on a watch chain of a man, I would expect this woman to show no mercy. She would butt in line at the fruit stand. She would trample over people at the Filene's basement sale. This means business, this one here. Very, very firm. It's similar to the Swan nib, and it's really cool. Then we have a bunch of Sheaffer striped pens, and these, many of these have the Feather Touch nibs, which I like. They have slight flexibility to them, as you can see, except I'm dribbling here. I did get more of these than just the ones I'm showing you, but they've already been absorbed and I don't know where they went. This one is the firmest of them all, which is probably why it has a white dot on there, because they guaranteed this for life. Lovely little striped pen, smaller size, shorter size, but quite lovely. Another pen I got with a equally slutty nib was this one, and this nib is really sweet. It's a Waterman Crusader or something, whatever they called this pen, and it's a keeper. It was in a pen that had a broken lever, so I transplanted it into this one, so it works, and I'm keeping this one for the moment. So that's the swag. What do you think? I didn't buy anything extraordinary in terms of what the pen looked like. They're all relatively common-ish pens. Yes, there are some rare ones, like this is not a very common pen with the gold band. And what else is this is kind of a rare one with this pattern, but none of these things would make, see, you right there, you're a sophisticated pen collector, and you're looking at all of these and saying, why did you even bother buying them or even looking at them? But you don't understand. Everyone else does in this room understands, or on this channel gets it, because they all have really pretty cool nibs. You know, not all. This one is not all that great. It's a perfectly fine nib. It'll serve someone very well for the rest of their life. It's not flexible in the way that I like them, or it's not too fine, which I also like. Is this one fine? This is slightly flexible. I know I have a couple of other striped pens I bought, but I don't know where I put them. I'll find them eventually. So there you go. What do you think? Put your comments below. Toodaloo.